What's going on, YouTube? This is your man TGAOTU, and I'm coming back to you with a new series. This new series is going to be kind of candid. There's not going to be any editing, so you're going to hear a lot of uhs, maybe some curse words, some throat clearing. There's no script. I didn't write anything down, so each of these videos are, you're going to hear me as me. Of course you're going to hear me as me, but you know what I mean. The new series is basically going to be about histories and beginnings and that kind of theme. The first one, probably going to be boring to a lot of you. It's going to be about me. Yeah, I know. Self-righteous, right? It's going to be about my history, where I grew up, how I got into gaming, all that sort of thing. And then it's going to progress into, not only how I got into gaming, but my gaming experiences. I'm 35, I'll be 30, I'm 34 now, I'll be 35 next year, but, there's a lot of gaming in between those years. So then we're going to move from that on over to how HeXp was formed, the history behind it, and what everything means with us. Then it'll, current HeXp going on, so, what's going on with HeXp now. And then finally we'll try to alleviate some questions and go into the history of HeXp, or not the history, but the future of HeXp. See, there's going to be a lot of messed up things now that I don't have a script in front of me. So, I guess first and foremost, hi, my name's Ben, also known as TGAOTU, and TGAOTU actually was formed. It's an acronym. I don't know. Each letter stands for something. It's the grand architect of the universe. And a lot of people call me GoTo and all this other stuff. It's TGAOTU. I'll put that up on the screen. But let's get started. Again, I am 34 years old, so I've been around the block a few times. Got the t-shirt, got the sweatpants, and the coffee mug. But I was born in Florida, and I moved a lot around in my childhood. I moved from Florida to Jersey. Both of my parents, well, one of my parents was from Florida, the other one from Jersey, so kind of moved back and forth. And ever since an early age, probably before even some of you were thought of, hey, you know what, let's have a kid kind of days, I was playing video games. One of my first memories was on the Atari 2600. Now, for some of you that are probably, I don't know, born in the last 15, 20 years, you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. The Atari 2600 was probably the first mainstream video game console, as it was. It was all 2D, there was no 3D, anything to it. It wasn't the first one, but it was the main one. That stuff with Pinball, Bomberman, Centipede, Space Invaders, Miss Pac-Man. Those are some of my first memories. We're playing video games, and I'll tell you, even back then, I fucking destroyed Miss Pac-Man. Video games came naturally to me. I could just pay attention, boom, boom, boom. All I can remember of Miss Pac-Man was, I know I was sitting in front of that thing for hours, and I've got to levels where it was like some psychedelic flashing things, purple, brown. I mean, I don't even know what level. It just got to the point where my parents actually had to say, hey, it's time to eat dinner. It's time to go to bed. So, I played the Atari 2600 out. Now, I never came from a rich upbringing. We weren't poor. We were, that middle class. And so, gaming consoles weren't a necessity, especially back then, because it wasn't as big as it is now. It was more of a, if you can get it, or your parents allow you to, then you might have one. So, after the 2600, there was a very long span where I never touched a game. So most of my childhood, I never had a console until probably the SNES came around. Mario Brothers, stuff like that. I can remember getting that one Christmas, and people had already had it for like a year or two. So I was already accustomed to everything. I'd sit over there at my friend's house. We'd play Zelda, Super Mario, and we'd just sit there and try to get through all the levels, you know, as fast as we could and whatever not. There's especially a game called River Raid. I could fucking get to like level 100 on that thing. So if anybody has ever heard of River Raid, that was my game back then. But again, a long time in between, you know, no consoles. It really wasn't as big as it is. And it never came back into my life, I'd say mainstream, you know, to where, hey, we got to have the hottest games, all that stuff. Probably into the 360. But before then, I was actually a PlayStation fan or fanatic. I was dedicated true to the PlayStation series. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. Actually, all of my games I played, you know, really up to that point, PlayStation 2, were RPGs. Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then when the PlayStation 2 came out, I believe the Call of Duty series came out. Don't hurt me if I'm wrong, but that's when I actually started getting into first-person shooters. But there was really no network to play it on. It was a single-player game. And I would say the first time that we really got an experience of a multiplayer experience, you're still playing by yourself, but I think it was SOCOM Navy SEALs. It came with a mic to where you could actually talk to your teammates and say, squad, go over here, or squad, attack this, defend this. And the game would actually take your voice, send it over to the squad, and they would follow your commands. Back then, it was really groundbreaking. I don't even know where the hell some of that technology went. I guess they went back to the Kinect. But again, PlayStation 2 forever. I never got the Xbox, the original one. And the Xbox, halfway through its life, was the first time that people really, truly exposed to an online experience with a console. Up until that point, PCs were where it's at. And I'll tell you, until the 360, I played PC religiously. Rainbow Six, any of the Tom Clancy series were definitely on top of their game. We'd go to LANs, we'd go to tournaments. They were small. They weren't the size of MLG and UMG. Nowhere near any of that. So most of our stuff was, you know, hobby shops throwing stuff together, or game stores, you know, just to get people in there. And you might have 20, 30, 40 people. And, you know, it was a tight-knit group, community, if you want to call it. But I dominated PC. I know me and this one kid would sit there for literally 8-10 hours, you know, just sniping people, and our duo would, like, hold off teams of 5. But PC was where it's at. You know, you had your online happenings there. But console really didn't hit until the Xbox, the first one. And it was still limited. People didn't really have much to go off of. It wasn't the live that you have now. You know, it was small. So, again, I really did not even touch another console for a very long time. Probably 3-4 years. You know, I went to the Marines. Yes, I am a Marine. There wasn't really a lot of tournaments going on for me because I was traveling around the world. And we did set up a LAN in our barracks. We actually ran the lines. We, you know, got switches and everything, and we would play each other, you know, on the Rainbow Six series on our computers, and we would play that way. It was the only way we could really get any kind of gaming experience in the military. So, get out of the military, and it, like I said, it wasn't for a while before the 360 came out, but I got it late, again, just like every console that I've ran into. And the first game I got, I want to say, I know I'm going to be wrong on this. I think it was a Splinter Cell game where you had the spies versus the mercs or something like that, and you could hide in the shadows. It was an original Xbox One title that you could play on the 360. And then, you know, of course I picked up Call of Duty 2. Again, I never really got into the clan or the gaming community because of the fact that, honestly, I didn't even think that they were around yet. You know, we had done it all on PC. Didn't know anybody on the 360 yet. I mean, everybody had their groups. It had already been out for a year, maybe 6 months. So I kind of played by myself and, you know, just played in the multiplayer maps. And it wasn't till I hit Gears of War that things kind of changed for me. I was probably in the top 100 in the world on their leaderboard list. I would want to say I was probably between 30 and 60. When I'd go to work, I'd drop down, I'd come home, I'd play, I was back up in, you know, the top 30. I kept that up for a couple weeks, and one day I got this message. Sorry if I don't remember his name, but I was trying to think of it there for a second. He basically contacted me and said, "Hey, we're part of this gaming community. We'd like to see you and have you join our clan," or whatever they called it. So I was like, "Hey, that sounds pretty damn cool." So I sent him a message back, and, you know, we got together. And ultimately, I was trying out for Vicious Army. Now, quick history on Vicious Army. They started out in Call of Duty 2, the original one, for 360, and it was led by a man named Psychosis. And this was probably one of the top clans, per se, in the game at that time. Back then, they were rival with, you know, then the Optic. They're smacking a lot of kids. It was a very large community. Everywhere you'd go on Call of Duty, you'd see a VA or a V. I forget how we did it. And through that, they actually connected with some of the gods that played the game, and some of the gods joined Vicious Army. But it was a very strong, very large community. And through the time that I was in there, they were trying to expand into Gears of War. But this time, you know, I met one of my close friends, Don't Touch My Ho-Ho, and we actually sat there and competed back and forth. I mean, the whole damn community that was in the Gears of War side would sit there and watch us while if you remember the game, the two bridges that you'd come across, how you could kind of spin, jump, and run up those two bridges, grab the sniper rifle and be the first one to shoot. We would sit there and just go back and forth with that. Obviously, I bested him because I'm making this video, so I get to say my word. He was a chump. I mean, I shot him all the time. But eventually that led to me leading the Gears of War side. It was pretty quick too. I think within a month, you know, I went from a nobody to I guess what they called a major or a general or something. They did the military theme. So I led the Gears of War side, and we went against, you know, Frag Dolls, VBI, and we actually went semi-pro in that game. You know, I still talk to the old leader of VBI, which I think his new one is ZYN. He does he's still big on YouTube, and I'm having a brain fart, so I don't remember damn names, his name, but I do know him. Yeah, that sounds very confident, right? Yeah, I know him, but I don't know his name. Like I said, an unscripted video is kind of hard because you have to think on the spot. Plus, I'm only halfway through my cup of coffee. So anyway, go semi-pro in Gears of War. And Call of Duty 2 it just goes by. We actually probably changed the community's name a few times, and I'll tell you this. One of the main things that happened with Vicious Army, and we say that we've been around, me and Ho been around forever, and everybody's like, well, why are you so small? Just to give you a recap, HeXp was formed 2 years ago. Well, actually, coming on 3 years. But anyway, I've been leading communities and kind of doing the work behind the scenes since the 360 came out. The reason being that these communities I was in before, I wasn't the leader, so we were basically under somebody else, and they would go down basically because Psychosis, the leader, he would work his ass off for 3 months or so. Everybody would be hyped. We'd be getting new people. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was just fucking like clockwork. It was working out. And then he'd drop off the face of the earth. Now, I could understand if, he just stopped doing stuff and we would be able to contact him. And he would come on and do something to help us out. But no, it was just like, psh, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go live life for a little bit. And you would not get any contact with them. So we would be scrambling trying to figure out, well, what do we need to do? We need to get the website, this and that, and then eventually people just start dropping off. That didn't happen once, not twice, not 3 times. And it is kind of our fault because we believed in the idea so much that we stuck around. So it happened a good 5-6 times. We changed from Vicious Army to Army of Affliction to, I don't know, they had one in they had one for pretty much every game we changed. Vicious Army even came back. So there was a lot of building up only to be broken down. So there's a lot of letdown. And I'm going to go ahead and end the first video here. The second video is going to cover a lot of that time in my life with Vicious Army, those people, those different organizations, who came in and out of those organizations. You'll be surprised at some of the people that you'll hear. And also how this kind of played into part on how HeXp was formed. And we'll touch into some of the foundation of HeXp. So yeah, the next video will actually be a little bit more about gaming instead of just little old me. And with that, this video is going to run a little bit long with the gameplay, so I'll just let you guys watch that. Thank you for watching it. Please, put in your comments and everything. Let me know how boring my life is and how you like the series. And just keep on gaming on, man. Peace.
Care package inbound. Lightning strike coordinates received. Inbound. Hardpoint is ours. RCXD ready for deployment. RCXD ready for launch. Hostile RCXD in your AO. Be advised, hostile UAV incoming. Keep up the pressure, squad. Hardpoint identified.
Snipers down, move up! Crashing out!
Check your timeline.
I gotcha.
Hardpoint contested. Hostile UAV above. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint contested. Solid execution.